Welcome to Indigo Living's On the Couch series. Now, I have the best job in the world because I get to share stories of the most inspiring women across the globe. Women that are breaking boundaries, women that are giving back, and women that are creating products, well, that everyone needs. So it's no surprise today I have founder of Kettish. Emaan Abbass has just, well, she's making waves across the globe, including Forbes magazine. Please welcome Emaan. Hi.
What an intro.
What an intro, because I don't know, I want to say the word taboo subject because no one really wants to talk about feminine wellness.
Yeah.
And you have just, well, you're yelling that out loud.
I am. I know. Yeah.
It's good because someone has to scream about things that women just need and that are sliding into, and you know, girls are sharing products but never talking about it.
Right.
You have just, well, everyone's talking about you. Everyone's talking about Kettish. Everyone is following this brand.
I still can't believe it. Whenever I hear that, I'm like, wait, what? You know about Kettish? Oh, it's really exciting.
Amazing. Well, I just want to, if you can just do a quick summary about the product, because I really want to talk about your journey. So what is Kettish?
Sure. Yeah. So Kettish essentially is a feminine wellness brand. We make super luxurious, effective, and safe products that are specially designed for women. Think of targeted body care and wellness products for women to use for their body. But really what we aim to do is to create a safe space for women to not only learn and become more acquainted with her body, but really just learn about her overall feminine wellness in a space that feels safe and welcoming for her to do so.
You've created such an incredible community. I was just featured on your platform, Girl Talk, and it was just amazing to see your followers ask questions. There's no boundaries. You have created such an honest space. How was it to create this brand? Because it's there's so many overwhelming areas because it's not just a brand. You've created this community of women.
Yeah, I think, there's a lot that's led me to this point, and a lot of that has to do with my own personal journey. But what was important to me with creating Kettish, and something that I felt that I was lacking both growing up and throughout my, my young adult years, was just an environment in which women could share their stories and talk about things that they were going through from a feminine health perspective, from an intimacy perspective, and in a way that was judgment-free and shame-free and taboo-free, in a way that felt comfortable and supportive and encouraging. And I feel like, for so long, I lacked that in my life. I know a lot of women around the world, or so I've heard, and now that we've launched this brand, a lot of women have wanted a brand like this or a space like this. And so it was important for us to create a community in which she felt, welcomed and supported, and that she was able to connect with other women that were just like her.
Let's talk about the word creation, because you have always been in a very creative field. Now, I feel like I have the dream job, but you have a dream job. You are creating the world's best beauty products. You are working for Huda Beauty, directly from Mona and Huda, which we love the girls, by the way. Big shout out to Mona and Huda. What was it like to be a part of product development for literally the best beauty brand in the world?
I mean, the entire experience was incredible. I actually never had a background in product development. I started my beauty career with Sephora, with Sephora in the States, and I was always in operations. But my dream was to work for a brand or to create products and to be closer to products. So joining the Huda Beauty team and having the opportunity to become a product development manager at the time of where Huda Beauty was in their growth and their development as a company. So I was one of the first 2 members on the product development team.
No way.
Yeah, and
it's
so
amazing.
I had an amazing opportunity to work very closely with Huda and to see her take a vision and to take a sketch or to take this color inspiration that she saw, while on a trip or while walking through a mall. And I remember she would bring it into the room and say, guys, we need to create a palette off this. And I'm like, off a purse or off of a t-shirt? And just to see the way that her creative process and the way that she was inspired, it was really inspiring for me. But I think what stood out the most and what I learned the most from her was the passion behind creating a product. Every product that she created, it had a need, it served a purpose, and she became obsessed with that purpose and was such an incredible storyteller when it came to creating a product that resonated with women and being able to tell the story and to create a whole world out of a single product. It was incredible. And I think that's what really drove me to create my own brand, was taking something that I felt was such a need and such a passion of mine and translating that into products that women could use.
Well, that's a true entrepreneur, right? You find a problem and an entrepreneur finds a solution. So Huda's like that, you are like that. But what was it like to go to your bosses and say, I have an idea?
Terrifying. It was scary. So what sparked it was Huda. She had posted a video back in 2017 where she talked about her desire to start an investment firm, or an investment fund, where she would use the money to invest in young entrepreneurs that had mission-based brands.
Which is HB Investment.
HB Investments, but this in particular, this investment fund was called HB Angels.
Oh, okay.
And when she posted the video, I remember watching it like, okay, that's something. And I remember I couldn't get it out of my mind. And for months, it took me months to build up the courage. I'd always had this thought to create something of my own. But it took a lot of courage and a lot of thought to just really put pen to paper and start mapping out what I wanted my brand to look like, what I wanted my brand to stand for. Mm-hmm. And once I felt like I had a solid business plan, if you will, or a business concept, I just remember thinking to myself, okay, this could go one of three ways. She could either say, this is great, let's do this. She could say, cute idea, get back to work. Or she could say, okay, this is interesting, but like maybe not right now, or maybe I'm not interested.
How did that meeting go?
Honestly, I think the best part of the meeting was the fact that it wasn't a yes right away, and it wasn't a no. She said, this is interesting, but I'm not sure. Let me think about it.
Was it still the original product?
It was the brand concept, and I remember I laid out a couple of different product ideas. By that time, I'd had 3 products that were already in my mind, but I hadn't started working on them. But it was the brand concept, what I wanted the brand to stand for, what I wanted the brand to look like. But I think what really stood out to her was this idea of helping women and creating a community for women. I mean, the community that Huda and her family have created with Huda Beauty, it's so powerful. And, she uses the power of transformative makeup and confidence and female empowerment to uplift this community. And so I think she saw that piece within the brand, just our ability to encourage women, to educate women, and to provide something that was really important, and that's something that was lacking, and that didn't really exist, especially here in this region, but really globally. And I think that's what really changed her mind from it being a maybe to a, okay, let's do this.
Let's have a conversation.
Yeah.
So you did this incredible request. You go into HB Investments with a pitch deck. How do you do a pitch deck so that anyone who's watching, before they call the HB Investment office, they know what they need before they meet the queen, Huda Beauty? Yeah.
Honestly, at the time, I really didn't know. I had no idea, how do you pitch a brand and pitch a brand to your boss?
Yeah.
But I did a lot of research. I watched a lot of Shark Tank. But really what I saw through all my research is that you really have to lay out what the problem is, or what is that missing piece that you as a founder or that your brand is looking to fill? What's that gap? What are the issues and what are the problems that you're looking to resolve with your brand? And how do you plan to do that, whether it's with products or a community that you're looking to build or a narrative with Kettish? The problem that I thought existed was the fact that feminine wellness, feminine hygiene products were still such a taboo. We're so stigmatized. And a lot of the spaces that these products still existed in were in the pharmacy and in the drugstore.
Yeah.
And what we were looking to do was to remove that shame, remove that stigma that existed around not only the products, but the conversation as a whole, and really elevate the buying experience of feminine wellness products. I used my pitch deck or my brand deck to show, what were the products, how we were looking to crush those stigmas, and ways that we could build the community to really, open up the conversation around the category.
So, and then after, the next step is you do financials of what it's like, where the vision of this company is going.
Yes.
When it
came to the financials, obviously that's an area that I didn't have a ton of experience in, but I had to know, I had to know how much money did I need, or how much money did I think it was going to take to bring this brand off the ground, and how much money did I think that we could potentially earn. And so it was a ton of research and uncomfortable moments of the finance side, but it's really important to, when you're going into a deck or going into a pitch, that you have this
you need to know
full
your business
knowledge.
You need to know your business.
Right.
And what is the next step after that? So you get the stamp of approval that this brand gets a green light. How do you go into production, or even finding someone to produce your product and your vision?
Right. I feel like we worked on product and brand validation, because I think that that's definitely the next step, is validating if what you think is the actual problem is actually a problem, and if a brand like this and the products that you're looking to create will serve that problem and fix it. And so while I was working on products, we also did a ton of market research, and we talked to women. We talked to women from around the world, and we tried to get a better sense of how they felt about these types of products, how they would receive a brand like this, especially here in the Middle East, where it's quite a taboo and there's not really brands like these. So I think that the validation process is really important, and it helps, it just helps strengthen your business model, and helps to show your investors that what you're bringing to the table is actually going to do well.
And the name Kettish, where does it come from?
So when we were looking for a brand name, I really wanted the name of the brand to tie back into my heritage. I'm Egyptian American, but both my parents are born and raised from Egypt. And so I really wanted it to represent my culture. So we started to look for different terms and words and figures that existed throughout Egyptian history. And Egyptian women are known to be strong, boss ladies, and it dates back to the ancient times. And so we found a goddess, ancient Egyptian goddess by the name of Ketish, and she is the goddess of love, passion, sexuality, intimacy, and pleasure. And so we felt she was the perfect embodiment of what we wanted Kettish to stand for. Just this bold, empowering woman that is not shameful, of her reproductive side, her intimate side, and she just represented everything we wanted to represent the brand.
So everything just came together.
It really did. It took a lot of time, but it really did.
Well, I always believe if you have the vision and the intentions right, things just fall into place, right? Because you're doing good. You're bringing a great product in the market. And what have been some of the challenges of getting a product on the market?
Ooh, so many. Where do I start? I think obviously the biggest challenge was launching a brand during COVID. It threw a lot of roadblocks. It threw up a lot of stops. It threw a lot of curveballs. It made us stand still for quite some time. We were actually supposed to launch the brand in spring 2020. And when February of 2020 started rolling around and COVID started coming out to the surface, it's like everything stopped. And it was devastating to think that like, oh my gosh, this is going to derail everything.
Yeah.
But actually looking back, it was such a blessing in disguise because it allowed us the opportunity to pause and stand still and really get to know our business and really get to know the brand and really get to know myself as a founder and really understand, you know, what we wanted to stand for, how we were going to do it. And yeah, just its strength. A lot of things changed during that time. The way we wanted to talk about things, our brand name changed.
Oh,
There's
really?
so much change during that
That's
time.
amazing.
So I think it was, although it was really frustrating and really hard, I think having that time to really go deep into our business really helped us.
And as a founder, you have so much responsibility. You are creating products, you're managing a team, but you also need to know your numbers. And, you know, I say this all the time, it tends to be women just don't, and I say this personally because I have a business as well, finance is not my strength. And when you're building a business, the idea can be so creative, but you still need someone to kind of balance the numbers and give you like honest feedback. Who is that person who is on your speed dial?
Whew, I got a couple people.
Yeah, good. No, that's amazing. You need that.
Yeah. Honestly, it's tough because when you're a founder, you want to shoot for the moon and you want to do everything and you want to make the best possible product, the best possible quality. And sometimes that comes with a price tag.
Yeah.
I really lean on my team. And I lean on different team members for different things. I think when it comes to the finance side, I definitely lean on my marketing director, Becky, a lot. She sees things very like realistically. Even my PR director, she's had a lot of experience with brand building, Marie, and she helps me understand, you know, what have other brands done and how we can make better decisions. But there's a small and mighty team at the investment firm. They are really well versed in finance, and I really lean on them for their expertise. And I think when I need to know like hard facts, numbers, is this going to pay off for us? I go to them, and they really help me paint the full picture.
No, I think it's so important to have an honest team around you. What often happens is when a business gets so successful, which is what you wanted to do, you end up having yes people around you and you can kind of get lost in it. So you really need to have a foundation of people that want the best for you, but are honest, and you have to be versed in your numbers for any founder.
Right. Yeah, and I'm very lucky. I mean, my team, they're some of my closest friends, but also my team members. And I feel like because of our relationships, they're very honest with me and they give it to me straight. I'm also really lucky to have people like Huda and Mona and these direct lines of communication with them where I could pick up the phone and ask them for advice. I mean, they've been through it before and they really give it to me real because they've seen it. And they've done it before. So I'm really grateful to have that relationship with them as well.
And how important is the role of social media in your life? Because this brand launched on social.
Yeah, it's everything.
It's everything. Yeah.
It is everything. It really is the place where people can get to know Kettish. And although our products, I feel like our products speak for themselves. They're bold, they're super luxe, they're effective, they're safe, they're credible. That's one part of the business, but social is really where they get to feel the personality behind the brand. They get to know me, my story, but then also get to know other women that are part of the community as well. So social media has been big for us. And I think it helps us open up that conversation that has been so closed, especially here in the region for so long. And to do so in a way that's educational, that's inspiring, that's empowering, and that makes women feel like they can come to the table and learn about these things and engage in the conversation in a way that feels comfortable for them. So social media has been everything, but it also has its challenges. I think a brand like this, it's sensitive on social media, and there's definitely some censorship that comes to play, which we've seen as a feminine wellness brand, that, you know, certain posts are deemed sensitive content.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which is quite interesting because we see ourselves as an educational, empowering brand. And so that's been a challenge, but you know, we work every day to just continue to inspire and encourage women to learn more about their bodies.
And as an entrepreneur, what was that aha moment when you knew you were on the right track?
Ooh. Wow. Okay. Very honestly.
Yeah, no, this is like, I love this answer. It's my favorite because I just feel like people work so hard, and it could be anything. It could be like, it's just this moment where you feel this validation, and it's an honest validation.
Yeah. Honestly, it was in therapy.
Yeah.
I started going to therapy right before the pandemic. And I remember it was a pretty challenging session. We were uncovering a lot. And I mean, obviously, I've been through a lot through my personal journey with my own feminine health. I had cervical cancer at the age of 21. And I still really struggle with my feminine health, whether it's hormonal issues. And now, you know, I'm 34. I have fertility on my mind, and, you know, not being a mom and this. And we were just talking through all of these challenges that I had been through. And I remember she said to me, she said, "Do you realize why all of these things have happened in your life?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she was like, "No, but do you actually realize, like, do you think about the business that you're starting and what you're doing and how you're
giving
trying
back
to help other women?" She's like, "This is your purpose." And I said,
I'm gonna cry.
It is. I was like, it is my purpose. And so I feel like that's the first moment that I actually connected it.
I love that.
Yeah, sometimes your darkest moments become your guiding light.
I love that.
Yeah.
No, I love that. And honestly, I know that's an honest answer, and I really appreciate that. But I love that feeling of just knowing that you're doing something right.
Yeah.
And all that time and lack of sleep and money and all the resources that go into building a brand. It's that one moment where you know it's all worth it.
Yeah. And I think, you know, the response that we've had from the community, the messages, hundreds of messages, DMs, emails that we get from women, just whether it's sharing their stories or telling us like, wow, like this is incredible. You know, more women need to talk about these things. I think those are the moments that really keep us going.
Yeah.
They reaffirm everything that we already knew, that we wanted the brand to stand for. And it's like, okay, it's working, keep going.
Amazing. That's so exciting.
Yeah.
Now tell me what it was like, because I, as a friend, was so proud of you when I saw you on Forbes.
Oh,
I mean, that is incredible. I mean, just because it's like a new brand and it's like so exciting.
Yeah.
I was in New York and I was like flipping through that and I saw it. I was like, I know her.
Pinch me,
right?
Yeah, several times. I still find it hard to, hard to digest. I mean, it's been a dream. Obviously, like every strong, empowering woman that starts their own business, like you want to be in Forbes. That's like the goal. So to see a publication like that give us a platform, it's just at launch is just incredible. And yeah, I'm so grateful. I remember my dad was sitting on the couch, and it was after the article had just launched, and it was quite humbling. I feel like I was trying to show him the article and like, look, Dad, I have this opportunity. And he was a little fixated on something else, and I really had to tune him in. And he was like, his reaction was just so emotional.
That's
and
amazing.
I was like, oh my gosh. Like,
That's
yeah,
so
we're doing something
right,
you know?
And doing something good and making a difference.
Yeah, it was great. It's still pinch me moment.
I love
Anytime
that.
any publication you know, gives Kettish a moment to shine, or a publication that shares my story and my journey. It's I'm so grateful for those moments.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us. So before you go, Indigo Living is all about living beautifully. What does that mean to you?
Ooh, living beautifully. I think a part of a beautiful life is peace. And letting go of the things that hold you back. And so for me, living beautifully is really, you know, rising above the noise and letting go of things that keep me in a box and that keep me chained in. And so I think just having peace and feeling confident in every step you take, that's what makes me feel like I'm living a beautiful life.
Love that, Emaan. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
I loved your story, honestly,
you.
and I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
And thank you for tuning in this week on Indigo Living's On the Couch series. I hope you were inspired as much as I was by Emaan's story. Follow Kettish below, and of course, watch the full episode and many more women's stories on the YouTube channel, and of course, Instagram as well. Indigo Living UAE, and of course, Indigo Living. See you very soon.